Welcome back to my channel for another brand new review on the hot figure of the week, the figure that's got Facebook blowing up. And I've got to say, I don't normally work to requests, but I must have had about 30 PMs today about, Rick, when's your Dredd review going up? Just give me some, cut me some slack, brothers, yeah? I work full time too. I did try ringing in this morning to work, pull a sickie. I rung in and boss says, how sick are you? I said, well, I've just stopped fucking my sister, so how sick do you think I am? He says, that don't fucking fool me, Rick. Get your ass to work, you lazy twat. So into work I had to go. So I'm filming it tonight and it should be up by Saturday morning, hopefully. Like I said, the figure's got Facebook blowing up. Pictures are circulating, people wanting it. I would say the way I understand it, your chance of getting it from Hong Kong now might be slim. So it's a matter of trying to get some pre-orders in for your local sellers, or see what you can do, make some moves if you do decide you want to get it. Other than that, you can do what I did and talk to Budget Stock, Anthony Sang, the man who can, as I refer to him. I think he might be your best bet, because if anybody's willing to go and have a little walk around Hong Kong for you, he's the man. So that is where I stand. But like I said, massive shout out to Anthony Sang, Budget Stock, for getting me this figure, because it's another nice piece and he got it here super fast. So massive respect to the man. Anyway, as you can see, let's make the introduction. It's Judge Joseph Dredd from the recent movie Dredd, the 3D version and the reboot of the franchise, and it is a really nice piece. I will say I normally review a figure stock, sort of straight from the box, so what I've got, that is what you'll get. That is not the case on this figure. I have done a bit of tinkering, and so if yours out of the box doesn't look like this, then there is some little modifications you could do, or you might choose not to. Either way, it's still a mint looking figure, but I might as well just cover them, because at this point you might think, well, why don't mine look like that? I spoke about it in a short review last night. I basically tried to get the shoulder armour, the badge on the helmet, the Dredd badge on his chest, the shoulder armour on that side, and the belt buckle, all the same gold, which I did, and I'm more than happy with. So I did do that. I tightened up the straps on the gloves so you can see where the hand ends and the arm begins. It does have like a gauntlet, but I'll talk about that when I get round to the outfit. You see, I did do the belt buckle. I also darkened the explosive mine, and I did darken the grenade. Also, somebody asked me today, why has my Dredd got 4 clips? Simply because the gun had a clip in, and I took the one out of the handle of the gun and I've displayed it on there. So that explains that. Like I said, I'm more than happy with the changes I made. I wouldn't want to do it for anybody else, simply because when you're modifying your own figures, you're only risking your own sort of thing. It's not going to cost you any extra, and I am confident in my art skills enough to do it the way I did it. I actually did it with a gold Sharpie marker, and then sort of used some methods to clean it down. I didn't blackwash over that. I just basically, I was careful with the marker, and then used like a cotton bud with some warm water on to sort of spread the marker around, because I wanted it so when the light weren't hitting it, it weren't over the top gold, but when the light's on it, like they are from above, it does look really metallic and really gold. But like I say, in a minute I will demonstrate that when I get to the outfit. So yeah, I wouldn't want to be doing it for everybody. There is a few other guys who have done the gold shoulder pads. So yeah, if you ask around, you'll get they know how to do it. And I will say, regardless what others will tell you, I worked first one up on YouTube to do it. So if anybody tells you I've copied them, it's bullshit, because they copied me. Other than Dean Knight, I will say, because I can remember talking to Dean Knight about 4 weeks ago, and he asked me how good these art figures were. I had the old Punisher, and I said, they are pretty good, but they're possibly not touching Hot Toy standards. And he says, well, what modifications would you make, or what would you do? We both spoke about the helmet not looking like it came down low enough, but I will say, if you get it on right, I'm satisfied with it. We both said that the pad didn't look quite gold enough, and the outfit looks a little bit too clean. I will cover all these points through the review, but like I say, I know me and Dean were talking about it, and I suppose others had the idea a long time back as well of what they wanted to do with it. So I will say, as mine stands now, that's how I want it. but that is not stock. So that's the point I want to make. Right, we'll put a short pause in there. I'll get him rotating and we'll start scoring this bitch up, and we'll see where it takes us. Right, rolling on to source material. And I'll try and do this pretty briefly because I don't want to go line for line in film or tell you Judge Dredd's history or anything like that. Obviously the figure comes from the movie Dredd. I think 2 years ago, I think that came out, 2012, could be wrong. But it is an unlicensed figure, so bear that in mind when you get it. And I will mention that more when I talk about the packaging in a minute. But it is a really good sort of incarnation of Dredd for me. A lot better than the Sylvester Stallone version. And I suppose, I don't know, worthy of the old comics from 2000 AD and the Judge Dredd magazine. If they'd have tried to recreate it from that, it would have still looked very cartoony, so I'm glad they sort of movified it and brought it up to date, which the look they went for, I'm really, really happy with. I think it's like a functional outfit and everything he's wearing makes sense. There's no oversized eagle on the shoulder or the chain down to his Judge Dredd badge, and the mixture of colours. Sometimes he looks blue with green and gold. I just like this black feel with the gold highlights, and then obviously the signature helmet with the black red and then the gold badge that's central. I do like it. I do like how it really turned out. Onto the movie. I think the movie was average, if I'm honest. I think it slipped up in a lot of places, namely no real backstory. You're pretty much just cast into a world which you're briefly shown. I think it was a little bit of a cheap cop-out, so they didn't have to show you Mega City 1. It's all set in the tower block where they go, is it Peachtrees, where most of the film is set, where him and Judge Anderson are sort of fighting the Marmar gang. It is good, but like I said, if you take the film, if it weren't a Dredd film and it was just any old cop film, would you go mad about it? I think you wouldn't. I think the one genius part about it were the 3D that they did on it, and also the drug, the slow-mo, because I think it allowed them to do some really, really good, brutal looking and graphic looking displays on it. And I'm thinking of the scene obviously where she lands on her face at the end, and also with the sort of busting, the breach the room, and sort of he shoots and it goes through the guy's cheek and everything. So yeah, there is really good bits in a really average film. That's the way I feel about it. I will say on Karl Urban, I think it was a really good casting because he comes across like he's not a prima donna, like Stallone were, and pretty much through most of the movie had the mask off. Now, I think I'm still right in saying that Judge Dredd has never removed the mask in the book. Somebody might pop up and tell me I'm wrong there, but that's pretty much how I understand it. Nobody's ever seen his face, or they've never shown his face. I think there has been clips in the book where his helmet's been removed, but he's never been illustrated without his mask. Obviously, if you're to the level of Stallone, you're an A-lister and you want yourself seen on screen. Where Karl Urban, I think, he put the character first and didn't mind playing the old film with the helmet on, and I respect him for that. I will also tell you a little bit of trivia. Judge Dredd in the comics is written in real time, and by that I mean the year it started up to the year now, so up to present. He has aged that much, so it doesn't really make clear what year that Dredd the movie is set in and how old he's supposed to be in that movie, because I think I could be right in saying that Judge Dredd now would be about 70-year-old or just under, but in the film I'm putting him somewhere sort of mid-40s up to 50, so he's quite grizzly in it, and he is just classic Dredd. I think he's done what Robert Downey Jr. did with the Tony Stark character and pretty much made it his own. So, as a character, I think Judge Dredd is sort of very cult. If I'm taking into account just the movie, I probably would have scored it a 3, and that's what I will do for the sake of this review. But for you Dredd fans out there, if I'm taking Dredd as a whole into account, then I probably would have conceded and given him a 5 out of 5. But for the sake of this movie coming from, for the sake of this figure coming from this movie, I'm only going to give the source material a 3 out of 5. Rolling on to the packaging, and I'll try and make you this brief. As you can see, the box art doesn't mention Dredd anywhere. It's pretty much got the serial code, which is AF15, the silhouette style red on black shot of Dredd, and then above artistic interpretation, which is pretty much an unlicensed figure. So you really could be scoring this against something of a custom piece, although it is made by a production company, Art Figures. I have had a figure from them before. It was the Avenger, which were the sort of unlicensed version of the Thomas Jane Punisher. That also a really nice figure, and the review is on my channel if you want to revert back to it. So I understand why they do it, although from a presentational point of view, the box isn't awesome, to be honest. Obviously, it can't say Dredd because it'd leave the company in a massive fucking quandary where they'd be pulling it. So we wouldn't want it. We'd sooner have the figure and without the license than to not have the figure at all. Now, I'd bet a pound to a pinch of shit that in next year to 2 years, Hot Toys sees how many units this has moved and they'll be jumping on. So at some point we will get an Hot Toys version. I can guarantee that, particularly if they make a sequel as well, because I think they'll jump all over the license now they see how much people want this figure. So I do like it, but it's not outstanding. It's very basic feeling. It does have a magnet side, which is always nice. Stays closed and holds its shape really well. And I do particularly like the artwork on the back. Again, the red on black silhouette, but it does give you an idea of the outfit proportions and a decent stance to show you the figure posed up. And like I said, I do like it. Inside it's just a foam tray. All the items do fit in really nicely and are housed safely, so there's no real risk of anything breaking or being hard to get out of the box. But on my own scale of how I rate packaging, like I said before, if I were to rate something like an iMini-Me box at a 1 and a Hot Toys slipcover design with all the artwork and the licenses a 3, then I've got to go straight down middle and give this a 2 out of 5. I'm not saying the box is bad, but it is, I don't know, you know the price range that you're working in when you receive a box like this. So like I said, for the packaging, I'm giving it a 2 out of 5. Rolling on to likeness, and before we start talking about the head sculpt, let's move up and show you the pose. So he's got lawgiver, two-handed, just making his move into a room or something like that, just about to arrest someone, but still pretty upright. Right, I'm going to say from the start, you know when Uncle Clipper reviews a figure, I show you everything I think I need you to see. Now, on this, I'm going to respect the character and I'm not going to take the helmet off, and that's for 2 reasons. Firstly, the character never takes the helmet off. So anybody who buys this figure and don't display it with the helmet on, I think you should package it back up and send it to somebody more worthy. So that's reason 1. You're never going to see it without the helmet on. Although I am glad they did give you a sculpt underneath, because sometimes, depending on where you catch the light, you do see the eyes underneath the visor. So I'm glad it isn't one piece. But they could pretty much, from that section up, they could have sculpted it to look like anybody, because it don't matter. It don't make a difference at all. All you need to know is that section, does it look like Carl Urban's mouth? Now, I've checked this film and I've checked it and checked it again. I've actually watched this film twice in probably last month expecting this figure. Now, I will say, and I think me and Dean Knight was wrong when we were talking about it, because I think the helmet sits nearly bang on right. You can only see the very tip of his nose, and that is in the majority of the film. They've also got the mole right, just off the right hand side of his nose there. The shape of the mouth is very accurate. The amount of stubble and the stubble colour, and obviously the frowning expression that Judge Dredd nearly always has on his face. I think they've captured it really well. So like I said, I could take that helmet off because it will come off. You know it's got the nipple on top and it's sort of an half moon shape. And then inside the helmet, there's a cutaway that fits into. When you put your helmet on, because I have seen a few that do look really high still, click it or press it in until you actually hear it drop down and click into place. So that is right down. That's going down no further. So that is as low as the helmet will go. I also thought on some of the pictures that sort of this section of the helmet where it's like been angle grinded, so to speak, I thought it were too high up on the side of the face, and I just think it must have been a case that the pictures I was looking at, the photographer just not pushed the helmet on. I think if you have got the helmet right on, I think it does look really, really accurate. Nearly 100%, I would say, and that, I say that very rarely about a figure. So like I said, I bet most of you are expecting me to take the helmet off and say, well, this eye, it actually looks like it has got odd eyes, I'm going to tell you that. When you take it out and you look at it, you think because it looks bald, you don't expect him to look like that, and one eye looks slightly higher than the other one, and it don't look accurate, and it kills the strength of the lower half of the sculpt, and that is why I'm not going to show it you. You're never going to buy this figure and even see it without the helmet on after you've took it out of the box, so that is why I'm not even going to review it without the helmet. I will say, and it might surprise you, that I'm giving the likeness a 5 out of 5, because when he stood like that, to me, it looks bang on. Again, show you around. Should we get him turning? Should we give him a quick lap? Because there's them lights, them spotlights, they move across that lovely gold. Beautiful. I will say as well, and I'll pick up on this actually on the outfit, I thought he'd be a bit of a bitch to pose because of the bulky shoulder pads, but the work they've done on him is really, really good. How they move along his body, so to speak. So, step out again, show you him rotating. I don't think I'm going to get too extreme pose-wise, but I do still want to give about 5 different looks for him. So, yep, loving that. But like I said, on the likeness, obviously without the helmet on, he looks pretty dog shit, but put that helmet on him and I think you'll be more than happy, and you will probably agree that he deserves a 5 out of 5. Moving on to his outfit, and I will start off by saying, when I posed this up last night, I enjoyed dressing it and putting the belt on it, putting the accessories on and getting the helmet where I wanted it and so on and so forth, then sort of making the padding on the shoulders gold, or sort of matching the golds, like I said, on the helmet, on the Dredd badge, on the pads, and also on the belt buckle. I'll tell you again the methods I used for that. I did enjoy doing all that, but then I got very anal, which is unusual for me. I do like to pose figures, and I like to get them as natural, or not particularly screen accurate, but as, I don't know, I would go back to the word natural. I want them to look as natural as possible. And there were certain things that I did on this figure, and everything I sort of did, it improved it a little bit, and so it's one of them. I put it in the cabin at probably 6 o'clock. I then come back, I filmed it again, took some photos, Facebook, put them on, come back, kept looking at it, kept tinkering about with it, which really reminded me of how I was with the DX12 when I started modding that and then changing little things, and I got very anal with it. I think, oh, I want it like this and I want it like that, and when it's in this position I want it to look exactly like that. This is how I were with this last night, to a point where I'm looking at people's pictures now and I'm thinking to myself, God, I'd change that, I'd change that. If it were me, I'd do that. So I'm going to go down it and tell you what I like about the outfit, and then I'm going to score it up. There's a couple of little nitpicks, but I think the good stuff far outweighs the bad. So, first and foremost, obviously, his helmet. Is it movie accurate? I think so, although a little bit clean. But I think from straight on, it looks really good. I think profile, it looks really good. And then back, it is what it is. So as it comes round, I think the shape of it, how it falls, sort of, how the visor comes down onto his nose, and then where these, with his corners touch, sort of just underneath the frown, and that, it just looks really nice touch. I will say there is a minimal amount of like weathered effects, so we're looking at the sort of silver line here and across here, really minimal, not overly done. So I'm thinking early in the movie, which would be the case because obviously later in the movie he'd have an hole somewhere there, and I think his shoulder pad on this side gets all banged in. So yeah, it would be more battle damage later in the movie. So if we're thinking early film, or just got his uniform, if you like, whatever, does it look accurate? To me, the helmet is really, really top drawer. Again, I'm glad that they did make it a separate head and helmet, because when you get the light through at certain angles, you can see that there is a full head sculpt underneath there, because you can see his eyes through the visor. I'm struggling to show you that, but take my word for it. This I did sort of colour. I did use the gold Sharpie marker. I've been told that that might not be a good idea, but it was good enough for me, and that it would be advised to use oil paint and do dry brushing. I was going to use acrylic paints and do the dry brushing technique. It's not undoable. In fact, it's pretty easy. So I were going to do that, but I thought if this works, I'll go with this idea. So I did use the gold Sharpie marker. Because I tested it on the thing and it came out just how I wanted it. And like I said, and I will show you in a minute, if I were to take these bright lights off from above, it does fade back down to where some people say it is in the film. Like some people say it's getting painted too bright. And could be the case, but like I said, I've done mine as I like it, whether it's screen accurate or not. Anyway, moving on to the collar on the coat. I have mine press stud fastened, and so there's a press stud behind there, but I make sure it's tucked right inside this padded collar on the tactical vest. Obviously the coat's zipped right up, the tactical vest is zipped right up, so I do like that. The tactical vest is a right touch, because these pads, you can move them up and down. There is a elastic band. Now this is the other thing. If you see here, there's like a leather flap. Now the gauntlet, for me, if you fold that flap back, pull the gauntlet right up and then fold this flap back down, it then goes to some like a breathable material here, and then it goes to this ribbed section. My elastic band is directly above that and straight round the seam, because that holds the pad in the position that I want it. Now, if I were to raise that arm up in the position it's in now, the shoulder pad would balloon up like that. It'd go to that shape. So what then you have to do is pull the elastic further down, because that then brings the pad back down to his arm. So I do like that they've done that, that the vest is a separate section, and there's all these different little, like a strap round here, this a strap across here what holds the, it sort of holds the chest plate to the pad, and then there's a strap that holds the collar to the pad, so it always stays in place, and it does look really nice. So yeah, I do like that. I think the gold they used on the Dredd badge is the best gold that they use stock, because I think the helmet section is a little bit too bright. I also think the belt buckle stock is too bright. Now, if you look on the film, you only really see the sort of semicircle and the bird's head on that, and this section here is really dark looking. So I have black washed here, and also I've gone up to the gold here, as I've used on here and here. So it is all now a standard gold. I also did some of the race sections in here with the standard gold, and also on here. So now the gold should all match, even down to the stud on the mine. So yeah, again, obviously the shoulder pad works exactly the same, and again, anal as fuck. My elastic band does go round the seam just above the ribbed section. I have him so you can just see the side of his elbow pads, as you can see, and then I do have his gauntlets pull right up. His gauntlets were a downside for me, simply because they're not as good a faux leather as the rest of the outfit. The rest of the outfit is really, really good. It's not as good as probably the DX10's leather outfit, but it's not far behind it. It's a lot more supple, but on this they used a different material again, and a little bit cheap for me. And also, I didn't like the Velcro on them, so you wrapped them around, you pull it back through the D-clasp and then Velcroed it, but it just made the strap look too baggy. So I pulled it as tight as possible and glued the ends, so mine are really, really tight. You can see where it's actually cutting into the, not cutting in, but you can see the segregation between where the hand ends and where the rest of the gauntlet or forearm ends. Because I were going to get some sculpted gloves and get rid of this gauntlet, but because I do like the forearm computer, I'm leaving it on. But like I said, when I position it, I try to get it how I want. The gloves are a good attempt, but for me, they just don't work. They make the hand look a little bit oversized. Now, when I put the glove on, I would recommend you get a tiny little screwdriver and push the glove right down into the cracks of the fingers. And then that way it'll pull the glove right into the fingertip so it don't look massively oversized. So I spent about 10 minutes doing that because I thought, I'm not having these big fucking Sasquatch hands on him. He looks like a right twat. So I did that. I got that one positioned to hold the gun. And again, my D clasps are just above the thumb. But like I said, that strap will still rotate because it's only glued to itself, so to speak. Again, that one pulling up. So yeah, as I did. Talking about the belt, obviously you get the gold. That were really bright gold, like I said, and you sort of feed it. And what you're doing when you feed it round, you're actually feeding it through the eyes underneath the vest and also through his accessories that he's got. So then you get the mine, which were really bright green out of the box. That's been black washed down. And then, like I said, I put the gold on the stud on the top. I also glued that closed because I've not seen one yet on anybody's that don't pop open, and it were pissing me right off. So I did glue that closed. I think I said on the video I did last night that mine don't come out. I think it might do, but I didn't care enough. I thought I'm just going to leave it in there, blackwash it, put that on and glue it closed. That's what I did. Then the clip holders, you just like tuck them over the top of the belt. You see that one's got 2 clips in, and also the back one has. Then you feed the belt through the pouch. The med pack tucks down behind the belt. Also, you can see these eyes are actually on the bottom section of the bulletproof vest. I'll just show you back at bulletproof vest as well. Really well done, because it's got this breathable material and then the individual armoured section, so it wouldn't really interfere with the articulation. And the padded section around the back of the collar looks really accurate and really nice. Going around the belt still, his knife just sort of tucks onto the thing, and then you have to feed it through the holster. Now, I'll come around the belt again, keep feeding it through that, and then the inside of the belt sort of tucks back on itself and comes back along here. So that's all behind there, so you can't see it. The green canister on the grenade, I did also blackwash to make it look a little bit darker than it were. So got it nicely positioned and how I like it. Just to show you the holster. So you feed it through, you can clip it in there, but I left it clipped and hanging down. The holster is a really hard plastic, and I will say the gun has some weight into it. When I first saw the picture of the gun, I thought looks cheap and nasty, and I thought they'd give us something better. In hand, it is much better. Feels quite weighty and is very futuristic looking. So yeah, I did prefer the gun seeing it in hand. These 2 clips, if you get them in position, again, I do like it with one clip above the other. Don't like them so they're pulled all over the place, and then quite neat around the top of the see the rib section again that he has on the legs. I just made sure that they stay in line with that. Anal as fuck, I know, but it just makes it look that little bit neater. His pads are on his kneecap, and then it does have these flaps, and then moving down to one of my favourite parts of the outfit. The boots are possibly best boots I've seen on a 1/6 figure, because they are actually made of a really soft, supple pleather, and then it's got a mixed materials, because this is hard plastic, but this is soft leather. So if you pull the boot up, which I will try and do, but bearing in mind I am right-handed, can you see? It's soft and supple leather. It has a real working strap, and then this section here is like a soft rubber, and then into a hard plastic and hard plastic sole. So really good touch. But like I said, the majority of this breathable section on the ankle, really nice. But it just blows my mind because it won't hinder the articulation in the ankle, because the majority of it is a soft leather boot. Look again, you can pull the crease out of the leather. So really good job on that. I really do like that. So yeah, I think the outfit as a whole is really nice. Like I said, wish the gloves would have been a little bit better fitting, or they would have gone for something different, but that's only a minor niggle. The fact that the shoulder pads for me weren't quite gold enough, that I had to do them myself, that were a little bit of a niggle, but I did enjoy doing it, and obviously I enjoy the comments that I've got showing people what I did. Like I said, others have done it differently, and they're free to do what they want. It's their own figure. Obviously I prefer mine for the simple reason it's mine. I'm not saying mine's better than anybody else's, but when you do a modification or a customization, you do it to your own taste, so you're obviously going to prefer your own to everybody else's. Now, a point I wanted to make, if I just kick off the lights, so that's like just now with the bedroom spots on and the camera light, as you can see, it doesn't, let's rotate him, it doesn't look as bright as you're thinking it is, because the light's not bouncing off it. So it's not overly gold, like I think one person said to another earlier today, said they've done it too gold. I personally disagree. I don't think I've done mine too gold. I think I've done mine just about perfect, if you ask me, but that's just me. So, outfit, I can't get other than a 5 out of 5. Touch of genius, and to get it in at this price range, again, I'll come back to this on value, but I thought when they showed the production photos, I thought there's no way that each person's is going to replicate that, and I think all in all they have done it. Some little modifications, sometimes fun, and like I say, it makes it individual to you, and I do like that about it. My only nitpick, like I said again, were the gauntlets, but I can live with that because the rest of the figure just looks cool as fuck. And when I look at the HD screenshots on the computer, I think the proportions, the helmet to the chest size, the width of the shoulder pads, everything, the length of the legs, where the pads are, how the boots are, I think they've done an awesome job. So like I said, on the outfit, I've given it a 5 out of 5. Moving on to articulation. I could tell you this pretty easy, but I'm going to take into account what the suit will allow and what it won't, so to speak. Now, the simple way of telling you is it's pretty much a true type body, a standard true type body underneath with very little articulation problems. There's nothing it won't do while it's undressed. The only place, in fact I'll come back to the only place, I will tell you where they've done well. The fact that it's a gloved hand with a wrist peg inside keeps the articulation through the wrist really good. The hands are articulated and you can pose them, and I do recommend you get some curve running through your hand, or it very often looks like a pancake squashed hand, because it comes out of the box and hands pretty much like that. They've obviously kept it like that so they can shove it straight into the glove, but you need to get some bends through your fingers, because if not, you're going to look like his hand's been trapped under a fucking steamroller. So yeah, get some movement through your hands. Going back to the articulation, his wrist is really good, his elbow a double bend as you would expect, good shoulder articulation, will move forward and back, up and down, rotation through the upper arm. Chest, just standard really, ab crunch, rotation through the waist, rotation at the top of the legs, double bend knee, really good ankle articulation due to the soft leather boot. Again, just to demonstrate that, if you've just joined the review, some people can't manage one of my full reviews, but you really should. You should treat yourself every now and again. Yeah, good ankle articulation through there. Only place, like I said, I'm going to come back to, that the articulation is not as good as I want it to be, is the neck. I'd like him more head forward than he will do, or like head tilted to either side. The articulation through his, because it's pretty much a sculpted neck on a low end ball joint, but the range is I don't know, it's weird because it's not sort of the hole around the shoulders that restricts it. It's sort of the shape of the ball into the lower end of the neck, so you can't get a really good forward dip. But again, that's only a little niggly nitpick. What does the outfit restrict? And again, this is pretty easy, nearly nothing. the shoulder pads, like I said, if I'd have left that elastic strap along there where it were, it wouldn't do that. What would happen is this part at shoulder would push up here and this part would go down here, so it'd look like a triangle sticking off his arm. So what you then have to do is move the elastic, so bring the elastic further down, which in turn brings the pad back to the arm and lower where that is. So that's what you do. Like I said, that one is still where it is because it's holding that pad in position. This one, if you're going to position the pad in a new place, bring the elastic down, and it works really, really well. And I've got to say, I fucking love that pose because that is looking beastly. I'm not fucking about with you. Look at that. Even rotation through hip. So let's have a look. Where would you be looking? That might be staying in my collection like that. In fact, I like that so much, I might not even change pose again. I might leave it as is, so Uncle Clipper can walk into his bedroom whenever he likes and see that figure in that position, because that is looking 2000 AD-tastic to me, brothers. Anyway, let's have a look at his gun while he's here. Let's see what this focus will do. Look at that. Look at his read art. Voice activated. Set to stun. Boom. Hot shot. I'll give you a hot shot. You know, fucking pot shot. Right in the force. Right. So, articulation. Because the neck one is quite an important one to me, and I would have preferred, I could probably pimp it out. You know me. Figure don't get a top side or Uncle Rickmeister. I gets the top side. So, yeah, I'm a real one. So, I don't know. I shouldn't have to fuck about with it. That's the problem I'm facing here. Because of the lower neck articulation, I'm going to knock it down one. If it had been a less obvious joint that weren't working right, then I'd have probably not docked it down and get it a perfect 5 out of 5. But I am going to give it a 4 out of 5 simply because of the neck articulation. I've got to say, that is beautiful. Let me get it in frame for you. Right, you lucky bastards with iPhone 6 Plus, right? That's it. Pause it, put a pause on it, that's it. Get a screenshot and you can have that. That can be your new phone screensaver. Compliments are Uncle Rickmeister, no worries. I'm not even going to charge you for it. I'm not even going to ask you to transfer money into my PayPal account for it. It's free. In fact, hold on, I'll give you another one. We'll give you 2 for the price of 1. Fucking have that. Have it, go on, take it. Take it and run with it, brothers, you deserve it. You thought I were kidding, boys, didn't you? Thought I was going to change pose up for you. No, I'm not. I'm not joking on this one. I'm loving that so much, it's staying as is. Plus, it's a perfect position that I can show you his extras without taking them off him. But we're going to keep him turning. Right, out the box. And I'm going to be careful what I say here, because if we're including the tactical vest and the helmet as outfit, and obviously the wrist computer as outfit, the belt as outfit, then all you can really class as his extras is the stuff on the belt and probably the gun. And that's what I'm going to talk about. So, if we look around the back, you've got his knife, the medipack, the pouch with a breather, the clips, of which there is 4, but 1 was in the gun, the mine, the grenade, and that is all that's on the belt. As he comes round, we will see that beastly looking gun. That. It's got the readout with the blue graphics on the front, on the side, sorry. Looking nice. Like I said, don't let the early pictures fool you, because I thought it was shit in them early pictures. In hand, it's so much better. Really, really nice. If you look at the length of the barrel or muzzle, whatever you want to call it, all you get that's not on him is that. Can you see? I put it in this little baggie so I can save it. Didn't really need a bag though, did I? Just to put the shorter muzzle. That is the only spare thing that you get that is not on him. And like I say, it's the short muzzle, because I prefer the long muzzle on the gun. So that is not a shitload of extras. Anybody will tell you that. Didn't even come with a stand. So that is an Optoy stand with Joe Turner's custom decals or stickers. Some people, you said decals to them, like, what the fuck's a decal? A decal is basically your stickers, and for that you would get the Dredd helmet symbol and then the nameplate sticker. So a nice touch. Charges around £4 for them, and then about I think 80 pence for stamp to send them. Yeah, I swear by them. I've got to be honest, I've had a few myself. Off Uncle Joe Turner. Let's call him Uncle Joe. He's a member of the community. Let's respect him, yeah? We're all his nephew. We're all buying from him. We're all learning from the lad. So, yeah, go and visit Uncle Joe Turner and he'll sort you out with some of these decals. And be creative. Try and get them nice and sweet. Because, look, this is what Uncle Clipper's done here. For his standard Jack of Spades figure, yeah, I've gone for white. I've gone for white Gangster's Kingdom. Have I done it on variant? Have I fuck? I've done it in gold. Still with white things, so it's all uniform, but nice gold. Oh, it just shows how limited. And that lad back there, he'll be getting a limited edition one as well, probably. And, you know what I mean? Got to keep your collection nice and fresh. You know what I mean? So, yeah, visit Uncle Joe Turner and he'll sort you out. Tell him Uncle Clipper sent you, and lad will look after you. You'll still have to pay, but at least he knows you've been watching my reviews, and that's all good. So, extras. The stuff that he gets is good, but most of it is wearing. Is that a bad thing? Probably not, because then you don't have to have bags. You don't have to have a big bag like this laid around your house with a fucking muzzle in it, do you? But I do, and then I put it in my accessory box and it'll not get lost. I know it'll always be there. So, not a massive amount of extras. Could have done with like a diorama base. I know Bruce Hodge displayed his on diorama base and it looked really nice. That's an idea. Some other people have done got some different decals, that sort of thing. Obviously he's going to need a stand, but not too much extra. But I can't really think of that he would need, unless you're going to chuck in the motorbike, but I can't see that happening. So I'm going to give the extras only a 2, because obviously he doesn't need another set of hands because he's got articulated hands. The gun's good, all the stuff on the belt's good, but there's not a lot of it. So I'm only giving it a 2 out of 5. Right, rolling on to value, and then I'll sum it up and we'll close it out from here. I'm not going to tell you exactly what I paid for it, because I never do. Me, Anthony, or Budget Stark, whatever you want to say, we pretty much respect each other's game too much to be disclosing shit like that. So it is in the £100 region. I think my pre-order to 16 Bruce were about £80. In the days when Hot Toys new release figures are going for £200 and upwards, I think that is £80 or £100 well spent, because it's as good as most Hot Toys figures. Obviously there's some that come with more stuff or it's from a better license, but I don't know. I don't know if you're getting an all-round better figure. I say I'm buzzing with it and it is attracting my attention. I'm going to give the value a 5 out of 5, which is no surprise. That gives the overall score a 26 out of a possible 35. I'm buzzing to have it. Massive shout out to Anthony. Thanks to you guys. Please subscribe, comment, share. But for now, Uncle Clipper is out of here.